right, let's pull up this. So the YouTube video that I would like to watch is called Reddit's Unseen Horrors by Snook. Don't know who the fuck Snook is. I know who Snooky is. No, Snooky is. Don't know who the fuck Snook is. But Reddit's Unseen Horrors. We've all used Reddit. And listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm an honest man. I tell the truth. I try not to hide or sugarcoat shit. I use Reddit for porn. On God. Porn or looking up really, really niche things that I need to do on my computer. Those are like the only two things that I use Reddit for. Porn and really fucking niche shit that I need some nerd who spent all of his time doing this on. That's all I use. So as far as the rabbit holes of Reddit and how fucked it gets, I am so certain it gets way, way more fucked than I could ever believe. As far as my usage of Reddit, it's never gone into a horrific type place. It has only ever been gooner shit and just really random shit I need to figure out in the moment.
Imagine you're scrolling through Reddit late at night and you come across something that feels wrong. Not a classic disturbing video, not a post you can easily explain. No. Something that was truly never meant to be seen. Something that unsettles you in a way you can't shake and makes you wonder who posted it and why. Today, we're diving into the corners of Reddit that are untouched. The posts, the notes, and the stories that Reddit tries to hide. The Schuylkill Notes. I have a friend that works as a chef in Philadelphia. We were talking about Reddit recently, and I was asking him about different topics I could cover for this video. And as we're talking, he goes, "Have you covered the Schuylkill Notes already?" And I'd never heard of that before. And I tell him as much. His eyes light up and he starts frantically searching for a picture.
Use fucking Key and Peele as the guys from Reddit. What?
One he can't seem to find. And I'm sitting there asking him, what the hell are the Schuylkill Notes?
Schuylkill
My
Notes.
friend replies,
GBA time also asking right now, what the hell are the Schuylkill Notes? What the fuck is Schuylkill? Sounds like fucking like Google, but sucking they have some type of speech impediment. They're like fucking Schuylkill. Like a schizophrenic person trying to figure out how Google works. The fuck is Google? The CIA is tracking my Googles.
Now, for those of you who don't know how a restaurant works, about twice a week, restaurants get shipments of food from distributors. They come in large cardboard boxes.
When I worked at McDonald's, I would have to do truck all by myself. And honestly, I kind of preferred it because I kind of would just get to go to the back and stop working with everybody else and kind of just do my own thing and work at my own pace. So that was really nice. But yes, like, dude, they would have this giant fucking semi-truck fucking loaded up with food. And I would fucking walk into that truck. I'd fucking have the list of shit, all needs to be there, all the inventory. And then I'd fucking go put everything that goes in the deep freezer, the fridge, the fucking back stock, the bags and shit. It is a lot of fucking shit, especially when you work in like a chain like that. I feel like probably smaller mom and pop or like fine dining restaurants probably get less stock than that. I feel like the ones like if you work in like a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, a fucking a Chili's, an Applebee's, you are fucking you are unloading a lot of fucking food like twice a week. It's coming in huge fucking semi trucks, dude. I don't think people understand the amount of food that has to get delivered to these restaurants.
And dozens of them, and the kitchen staff are responsible for breaking them down and unloading the grocery. They're often from the same company, from the same place, and the whole affair is standard kitchen work. Nothing out of the ordinary. So while my friend is prepping, the other cooks are unloading. They open up the boxes, stock the shelves, the freezer, the walk-in. One of the chefs calls him over. "Look at this," the chef says. Inside one of the sealed boxes, a note typed onto a small piece of paper. It contained a series of insane ramblings about RFK, Social Security, the Eiffel Tower, all disguised by a dense, complicated code. He never did find the photo, but he linked me to a niche subreddit with
what the fuck? So it's random AF. Sounds like a random like angry dude who's just like fucking. I'm gonna write a bunch of shit and I'm just gonna put it in this note in this box at work and fucking ship it off. There he goes into the wild. Whoever fucking finds it, I don't know. Honestly, like fucking letter in a bottle in the ocean type shit. Honestly, I would do type shit. I would do because honestly, if assuming that guy is not insane. Pretty fucking funny.
Very few views dedicated to those users who found notes of their own. And needless to say, I've been honestly losing my mind over this. This is one of the most disturbing and perplexing mysteries I have ever dived into. Now let's go back to 2018. A user named Mattis makes a post to r/WTF titled, "Found the ramblings of a schizophrenic conspiracy theorist in my driveway after I got home from work today. I have so many questions." The body of the post is a single picture.
Lies. Terrorism, drug imports, and illegal immigration are deniability stunts of something terrorism, something university radicalism. Public ed and KKK grew out of the, I can't see what that says, includes the VAT and SSGs, just, I can't see what this, I can't, ramblings basically. So I mean, sounds like he's fucking, honestly, and anytime I see university radicalism, anytime someone tries to say that, oh, the colleges are radicalizing the kids, you look at the statistics, and all of the people who vote Democrat have college degrees. So it almost seems like there's a correlation between being fucking smarter and voting Democrat. Not that Democrats are good. They're honestly really fucking bad, and most of them are spineless and don't stand for anything they say they stand for, and are just as bought out as every other fucking politician. But anytime someone pulls the fucking university radicalism on me, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. You probably didn't go to college. Nothing wrong with not going to college, but don't be upset at everybody else who went to college and called them fucking radicalized fucking libtards because you didn't go to college.
Holding a yellowed note in his hand. Now the text is a
holy schizo.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Reading for clarity here. The note begins with one word in big black bold. Lies, terrorism, drug importing, and illegal immigration are destabilizing efforts of secret societies. Churchill, writing on destabilization, said the Illuminati is the
Automod rage baiting me?
movement of the 19th century. Socialism.
Oh, it is.
Terrorism.
LOL.
University radicalism. Public education and the KKK grew out of the Illuminati. It includes the Vatican and its SS, Jesuits, Masons, etc., working with SS from other religions. But one user comments, something strange. Did you find this in Pennsylvania by chance? I've come across this exact paper a few times in town. No one knows where they're coming from. And then the OP replies saying, I did actually. I'm about 45 minutes out of Harrisburg. The commenter too is nearby. He lives in Williamsport, which is about an hour away from Harrisburg, just 15 minutes further from the OP. Someone is leaving these notes in their Pennsylvania neighborhood, and it's been happening for a while. Someone else joins the conversation. Entertained by the story and the proximity between these two accounts, he makes a recommendation. You two should assemble a ragtag group of neighborhood vigilantes and get to the bottom of this. 5 years later, a community of internet sleuths create a subreddit dedicated to hunting this person down and trying to decipher one of Pennsylvania's biggest unknown mysteries, the radical, illegible notes that we now call the Schuylkill Notes.
The Schuylkill Notes.
So,
goofy name.
What are the Schuylkill Notes?
Nice.
Well, the note I began
Shut up,
reading
shut up,
to
Quack.
you, the first one ever officially found, was something of a proto-note. It's mostly legible. The ideas it was trying to communicate were much more clear, but as the years went on, more notes began to surface. And here's an example of one of the new notes. And I'm not going to read you any of this, firstly, because it's mostly just
Yeah, what is this? A secret sign. Word, Sim, Sys, United Secret, SOC, CIA's bird, Toyota rings, I have face, Target, skull bones, Yale, Euro, Lamb, Pfizer, China's crest, and or Star Cross, Pirate, KKK, Sitco, Lights, Bars, CNN, Fox, Tide, Saturn, the agents, give you the dining coordinates to me, Literally what this is. It is just ramblings. It's just insane. Obama.
the content of it is insane. In it, we see similar themes to the first note, but it's become much more unhinged. And these notes are everywhere. People have found them all across the eastern United States, mostly in Pennsylvania, but others have been found as far away as Germany. And as we scroll through this,
Bro, watch Zeitgeist once. On God, dude. Like, even what even? Bro just wrote down buzzwords.
10 notes, 20 notes, 50, 100. Found a note in Auburn, Pennsylvania, shortly after Christmas. It was wrapped in plastic with a paper clip, then thumbtacked to a tree trunk behind a leaf. I did not unwrap since I already found several in Landingville a few years ago. Found my second note on the Appalachian Trail this past month. The first one was just outside of Duncannon, and this one was about 8 miles NOBO in from 183. Whoever it is, they've got some serious mental health issues. In the prevalence of the notes, the disparity between locations, and the sheer number of them indicates a very obsessive, unhinged individual.
I feel like, okay, so here's my theory about this so far. I feel like originally somebody probably in Pennsylvania where it started was actually like writing these and like putting these places. And I think the more it got put onto Reddit, the more people were just printing these out or writing their own and making it look very similar and kind of just sending it out places to the point where there's a bunch of different fucking people all like basically doing an IRL creepypasta and kind of spreading it around. That's what I suspect is happening. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I suspect is happening. And yeah, it looks like right here. It's clearly someone very mentally ill. This person mentions copycats.
Clearly someone who is very mentally ill wanting to spread their message. And just like my friend the chef, people began finding notes in their food.
In their food?
Mix, Cheez-Its, cookies, pasta boxes, Crystal Light, and the list goes on and on. And now this brings up a very unsettling fact. Somehow, some way, this man was getting access to sealed food products. And to understand,
is this real though? Are people actually finding this in their shit, or is it like someone who's taking back their McChicken who just fucking nutted in it and was like, "Hey, there's nut in my McChicken. Can you please give me a second one?" Like, is it that type shit, or is someone actually putting these notes in there? I have a lot of skepticism about what's going on right now, about the validity of it.
So let's roll back the clock. September 29th, 1982. 12-year-old Mary Kellerman, who should be getting ready for school, is instead being comforted by her parents. When she woke up, it was obvious she wasn't feeling well. Runny nose, a sore throat, and a bad headache. Most likely, she has a cold. People described her as easy to be around. She's a happy, warm, normal little girl. Everyone loves seeing her at school, but today she'll need to stay home. Her father, Dennis, gives her something to ease her uncomfortable symptoms and tells her to go back to bed. Get some rest. You'll feel better tomorrow. But for little Mary, there would be no tomorrow. Medical services are called and Mary is rushed to the hospital, but there's no saving her. At approximately 9:56 a.m., she's pronounced dead. The cause? Poisoning. But not just any poison.
Did the dad fucking poison her?
Potassium cyanide, one of the strongest and most deadly poisons on planet Earth. In the coming days, 6 more people would die mysteriously, all of them poisoned. All of them
potassium cyanide. Potassium cyanide. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna look at potassium cyanide. I've never heard of this, and it's apparently one of the most. I've never heard of this, and it's apparently one of the most deadliest poisons in the world. Gave it to her the night before, woke up dead. What the fuck? It's highly toxic, colorless, water-soluble salt used primarily in gold mining, organic synthesis, electroplating, and chemical jewelry manufacturing. Dude, what the fuck? That is fucked.
They had all been feeling a little sick, and they'd all taken extra strength Tylenol. As the 1982 Tylenol poisonings, an investigation followed shortly thereafter.
I know about this.
No person has ever been convicted of the crime, and today there are no leads. It remains one of the most disturbing and devastating mysteries in modern American history. All food and drug products were required to institute tamper-proof seals.
Yep.
What that means is no one outside of manufacturing could ever tamper with our food or our medications ever again. At least, that was the idea. But the very existence of the Schuylkill Notes presents a very serious and obvious problem. Some psycho has access to the things we eat, and whoever the person is, no matter their intentions, they are in a very dangerous and powerful position.
So what is he implying? He's implying that if people don't react to his insane ramblings, he's going to put poison in people's foods. I mean, it'd be possible, certainly possible. I think people have done crazier things. I mean, not a crazy implication. I mean, the Tylenol incident was insane. If you don't know about the Tylenol incident, like people just getting poisoned from taking Tylenol. I mean, it was insane. I mean, and it completely changed how drugs were packaged and manufactured ever since. And I guess the implication here is that the Schuylkill Notes are being inserted by a manufacturer before they ever hit shelves. And if that's the case, then has anything really actually changed from when the Tylenol incident happened?
So, what's the goal? And what are people doing to stop this from escalating into another nationwide tragedy? Well, to understand the why, we first have to understand the notes themselves. And thankfully, the group on r/Schuylkill Notes has done some amateur sleuthing. There's a couple of theories, but I'm more aligned with this user, NonSkew2, who dives into the mindset of a person like this. He writes, in the originals, not the copycats, it's all about connections. Some of them are obvious to anyone who has a cursory knowledge of conspiracy theories, often can be true or can be unprovable. Some are a bit deeper, and some really seem to be the result of psychosis. Alternatively, they could be the person's own conspiracy ideas, which in the past, even more than now, conspiracy theory has been equated to a nut job.
This is true. And I think, because this video just came out. This video came out yesterday. And so it's very, 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 very recent. And so I feel like the idea of what a conspiracy theorist is and who they are and what they stand for has changed over time, especially very, very recently with all the shit that's come out in the Epstein files. Basically, everyone who was a conspiracy theorist and had some crazy conspiracy about it was basically proven fucking right. They were eating babies. There were satanic rituals. Epstein has a Fortnite account. He directly influenced microtransactions in games and said that this would be a good way to introduce children to capitalism and capitalistic tendencies. Basically, any conspiracy theory that these people have come up with has basically been proven true. And these are people that I would and other people would call these people nut jobs and crazy, and it's insane. But honestly, after all this shit has been brought forth and is in the files, I'm just gonna believe everything. I don't give. You have some crazy fucking shit that you want to say and you think is true. I'm here. I'll hear it. I'll hear it because it might be true. They're eating babies. They're doing rituals. They're fucking putting children in dentist chairs with masks and fucking in a weird ass room. What the fuck is going on? So, I mean, whatever conspiracy theories are coming, whatever new conspiracy theories come about, I'm just going to believe them because fuck it. Anything can happen.
The author makes his claim. Plain as day, our number one enemies. Now, if you're confused, so am I. But I'm not asking you to understand the content. No one can. It's almost impossible. But we can understand the purpose. This man, whoever he is scared. Most conspiracy theorists are. They feel under fire, oftentimes from unseen forces. And it's clear to me, and most of the users on r/Schuylkill Notes, that this man wants to...
This is facts, though. Who's talking about? Oh, facts. Conspiracy theorists do be the most paranoid motherfuckers. Even just talking about Epstein makes me paranoid. Like, dude, I am nobody. The CIA is not about to walk up in here and fucking slime me out. Not gonna happen. I'm a 23-year-old chud. Just even talking about it, though, I'm like, dude, what if, though? What if? So, like...
open our eyes to whatever danger is out there, which in turn makes this person all the more dangerous. They've already gone to extreme lengths to make sure we hear him, but what comes next? If he doesn't get the response he wants, what's the next move? Let's talk about another problem, one that's debated over and over again in this Reddit thread. How are the notes being placed? The outdoor ones are obvious. Someone goes around and strings them up, pins them to trees, whatever. But what about the food? How is it getting into the food? Well, people have different theories, one of which aligns with the Tylenol poisonings. You see, whoever committed the Tylenol poisonings had a system. They would buy a bottle of Tylenol, poison a capsule, then return the product. The store would restock the returned product, and their murderous plan was in motion.
Am I the only one who thinks it's insane that you could return like medicine and drugs? Or like, I guess you could. I don't think you can anymore. But is that not insane that you could take a bottle of Tylenol, take one out, open it up, fill it with fucking poison, put it back in, return it to the store, and be like, here you go, my unopened bottle of Tylenol. Why would they, like, it's like trying to return a fucking cheeseburger to McDonald's. It's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, why are you getting a refund for the fucking cheeseburger? It's like, why would they accept that? Why are they accepting the Tylenol back? Like, what the fuck?
And some people believe that's what's happening with these Schuylkill notes. This is 100% the case. I have experience working in the food industry and actually did some investigation into consumer complaints on these notes back in 2021 through 2022 timeframe. There are a couple of key factors. Complaints are coming from products made by multiple companies. Even when from the same company, they come from multiple factories and production lines. Although not impossible, it's highly improbable that someone would have that level of access across multiple companies and factories. Sneaking a note into packaging at the factory is logistically quite hard. Most packaging equipment is covered with protective shielding for employee or food safety reasons. It often has multiple employees working in the same area with visibility to what people are doing.
This is why I was also skeptical of it being the same guy doing all of them. If you've ever worked in like a manufacturing warehouse before, I have. You are constantly being watched by somebody. Either another coworker, it be a boss, someone to make sure you be a camera watching you. It's like you manufacturing jobs are made to be done in a very specific way. They're a manufacturing job for a reason, right? It's a line, Henry Ford popularized, the assembly line. That's how these came apart. You are basically a robot in that position. So if you're doing anything out of the ordinary, someone is going to notice because your job is to do the same fucking thing over and over and over and over again. And so if you do something that's slightly out of the ordinary, it's going to balloon and look way bigger. So it's just not I just don't find this likely that there's just one dude is just sneaking all these notes in. It's definitely a bunch of copycats.
Packaging, like cardboard cartons, they're folded.
It's kind of crazy to imagine just how little power you have compared to the government. I think that conspiracy theorists go way farther on this and thus become paranoid of the government and anything involved. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you 100%, Blob. It is. I think conspiracy theorists feel really small. I think we all feel really small. And in the grand scheme, we should, because we are small, right? But when you kind of think about the powers at play and who is in your government, it makes you feel like, wow, I really can't do shit. I can't really do shit. And you start looking at the things the government does. Fucking CIA taking over governments, killing people in their homes, fucking, ICE doing shit. It's becomes very easy to mistrust your government. It becomes very easy to be like, okay, well, my government doesn't have the best interest at heart. So, and because I know that, what else could they possibly be doing? Conspiracy theory comes from a very, very deep-seated distrust in the system. Whether that is valid or not is a completely different conversation. But that's where conspiracy theories ultimately come from. You're theorizing about these things because you don't trust that your government's telling you the truth.
Now, all of this makes perfect sense, and it might be true, but I'll remind you of my chef friend. When we first talked, I asked him, what was the state of the box? Did it look tampered with? Was there some sign that a person had gotten into it? And his answer was, no. It was sealed, exactly like the rest. It was food sent directly from the manufacturing company. It wasn't on a shelf, and it wasn't accessible by the public. Here's a map visualizing some of the user-reported locations. For those of you listening, we've got a spread that ranges from as far as Illinois, as far south as the Carolinas, and as far north as Maine. I'll also remind you all, a user reported finding one in an Aldi in Hamburg, Germany. So the odds of this being at
Oh, wow. There's no way it's not copycats, or I guess it could be some elaborate fucking giant scheme that this guy has put together, and he's got a whole operation and multiple people in on it, but why? I don't know, dude. I don't know.
store level, in my
We're speaking like theorists at this point. Yeah, I mean, facts.
So if it isn't
I mean, I don't know. I've already
happening,
said that, like, fucking at this point, I'll believe you have any theory, just bring it to me. I don't fucking care anymore. I don't think you're crazy. I don't think anybody's crazy at this point.
that means it's happening sometime between manufacturing, packaging, and shipping. Okay, how? Well, about a year ago, someone made a startling connection. User Please Listen in Here writes, found connections by researching the companies and brands that each note is found in. Hello, new here, and I'm sure this has already been mentioned perhaps. If not, I wanted to jump in. Junior Mints, Mac and Cheese, Dunkaroos, and Skinny Pop were the first I researched, and all were owned by Nabisco, with Hershey's owning Skinny Pop. I also found that there's a Nestle beef between Nabisco especially, and not sure if it is relevant. All of these food brands are owned by Nabisco. Could this be happening possibly from a factory worker, slipping these into boxes while packaging? This to me seems like a step in the right direction. Users have posted finding the notes in these products, and all of them are owned by Nabisco. Now, is it possible that Nabisco just owns a lot of products and the notes are still going in randomly? Sure, but the connection is hard to deny. That would make sense then, why these products are predominantly found within 50 miles of Philly. At least it would if the factory hadn't shut down in 2015 and later demolished in 2016. So what about the delivery process? Maybe they're being slipped in that way from a more distant factory? Well, some people believe it might be a truck driver, someone with relatively easy access to multiple packages in bulk with plenty of time to tamper with the products. This would explain why there's such a large geographical spread, and it would also align with my friend's personal experience. While some people are certain that it is, in fact, a truck driver, others aren't so sure. User freeborn_247 makes a good point. Quote, I work in retail and have worked for multiple retail companies. The odds that it's a truck driver are slim due to the fact that 99% of deliveries have a welded bolt placed through the doors. The driver cannot open that bolt. It takes bolt cutters without the receiver or other associates present. They typically ask, can I break the seal? If the seal's already broken, when they arrive, the shipment can be refused and they more than likely will lose their jobs.
Oh, I didn't know this actually. I didn't know this, but this makes sense because I don't know if you've ever driven in the United States. When you drive on the highways, you'll notice that there's truck stops along the way and they have to do weigh-ins. They are required by law to stop and do their weigh-ins, but they don't open the trucks though to check what's inside. They weigh the truck because before the truck leaves the manufacturing facility, it is supposed to weigh a certain amount. And so when they get to the weigh-in, that amount has to match up, and if it doesn't, then they have to check inside of it, and they might be fucked. A lot of the times it's drug smuggling. But now that I'm thinking about this actually makes a lot of sense as to why it couldn't be a truck driver. Sounds fake as fuck, though. It just is easy to fake, and what would the point be? What is his or their motive? What are they trying to achieve? That's what I'm struggling to comprehend. Yeah, I'm also struggling to comprehend that too. Obviously, they're trying to put out some type of message. If we look at the notes, right? If we look at the notes, we see like Obama, we see company names, we see CIA, we see a lot of the things that we see conspiracy theorists talk about today. And generally, things that I would say are tampered and compromised with. I would say our government's compromised. I would say our intelligence agencies compromised. I would say our the companies are the ones doing a lot of the compromising. Obviously, there's a message out there that's trying to get pushed that's saying like, hey, we're not as in control as you think we are, and actually there are powers at play that are doing things behind doors that are not being revealed to the public. I think that is the main point that this guy is trying to push across. Honestly, I don't even think he's really dangerous, honestly. I think he's probably mentally ill and is bad at communicating, and is probably very lonely to the point where like this is what he's doing to try and get things across, I guess. I don't know. As far as like his individual psychology of it all and like who he is as a person, I don't know. I mean, there could be a million different reasons as to why that is, but obviously I think it's very clear there's a specific message he's trying to get across though. It's about the American government, so the one in Germany is most likely a copycat. Yeah, that's what I'm also. Yeah, that's the Hamburg one. Yeah, that also. A lot of it's about why would you have things in Hamburg that talk about Obama and the CIA? I mean, not that American politics don't affect global politics, but like, come on, like Germany is not the one that we're beefing with.
There was a guy who found his Schuylkill note in a sealed bag of Lucky Charms. Every time I try to wrap my head around this, the how of it all, I end up with more questions than I do answers. So maybe we have to start somewhere else. Like the notes themselves? Maybe there's something about the actual physical notes that can give us a clue as to what's going on and who's behind it all. Well, one of the first big leads I found was printer steganography. For those of you who don't know, most modern printers are set to produce a secret microscopic code called the Machine Identification Code, or MIC. This code was implemented in the 1980s when companies like Xerox and Canon became worried that their printers were being used to print counterfeit bills. Law enforcement wasn't happy, and they needed a way to protect themselves from the ensuing trouble this might have caused. So they began implementing a new technology: tiny, imperceivable yellow dots planted imperceptibly throughout the page. Each printer has a unique combination, with no two printers having the same design. If a criminal used a printer to counterfeit money, the yellow dots would allow law enforcement to track down the exact printer, and in turn, the criminal. And for the mysterious Schuylkill notes, one user decided to investigate the paper itself, hoping it would provide useful information. Here are his findings. There is no MIC on the note I received. I took macro photos of a Schuylkill note and a piece of paper printed with a color printer to act as my control. I used high CRI lighting and a UV light to try and isolate any yellow tracking dots. I processed these in Lightroom to boost saturation and luminosity of yellow hues to make tracking dots easier to see. My method works, as you can easily see the tracking dots on the control piece of paper.
Listen, I'm not making fun of this guy. I'm like, genuinely, I'm not. Like, this is actually really impressive, but the level of detective work for this is actually insane. The level of detective work for this is crazy. That's awesome. It really is awesome. And I think it's really cool that people like doing this enough to almost be like a hobbyist detective, but it's crazy.
There are no discernible tracking dots on this Schuylkill note, which leads to three possible conclusions. Number one, the notes are printed using a black and white printer. Number two, the notes are printed using a color printer that did not implement MIC. And number three, the notes are photocopied, which may erase MIC. This still requires the copier to match one of the two above options. Additionally, this is only based on a single note. I would like others to send me notes, ideally older ones, to see if my findings are consistent. I also believe I found a way to identify the authenticity of these notes, and I'd like to confirm that. If you have a note, please consider sending it my way. You're actually joking, right? There is no discernible information from the papers themselves. None. And not even that. We don't even know how there's no MIC dots. There are three theories about just the dots themselves. Guys, this entire case is crazy. It's like a hydra. You answer one question and three more questions take its place. And I'm sure by this point, like me, you're starting to feel a little hopeless. But right in that paragraph, he makes an interesting observation. One that brings us to yet another question. OP said, I also believe I found a way to identify the authenticity of these notes.
I did note that. I feel like if you could figure out which ones are real and which ones are fakes, i.e. the copycats, that would narrow it down. You wouldn't find it would still be hard, but it would narrow it down a lot. police should hire this guy? Facts, on God. CIA hires terrorists. Why not? Why not hire fucking this guy? Why not hire this guy?
What does that mean? Authenticity. Well, it means that some people think not all of these Schuylkill notes are genuine notes. In other words, there might be copycats. Which brings us to our next question. Who? Well, the copycat theory crops up a lot of posts on this subreddit. Throughout this video, I've sort of been referring to this perpetrator as a single person, but if you really look at all the information we do have, it starts to feel like the only way this could happen on such a large scale across multiple years is if multiple people are producing these Schuylkill notes. But once again, the jury is out. One of the main arguments against the copycat theory is why? Why would anyone have a reason to even copy the notes and claim them as actual genuine?
I mean, on God, why? Why would they do it? Why does anyone copycat anything? It's the exact same reasons when we have a prolific murderer or somebody who gains a lot of notoriety for committing a crime. It's the exact same reason why we have fucking 10 other people immediately after that go and commit the same crime. It's the exact same reason that Jeffrey Dahmer's family, his brother, was upset that Jeffrey Dahmer was getting a bunch of attention for the murders he did, and he was upset that he was getting TV shows and he wasn't getting anything. And so then he ended up, I don't remember what crimes he committed. I don't know if it was murder, but he ended up committing crimes himself. Hopefully, dude, hold on. Actually, before I misinform you guys, let me actually make sure I'm saying this right. Hold on. Jeffrey Dahmer brother. Because I'm pretty sure Jeffrey Dahmer's brother also like did a Jeffrey Dahmer brother. David Dahmer. Yeah, David Dahmer. Yeah. Look at his life. 3 days later, the killer's president murdered. Jeffrey Dahmer and his brother David Dahmer were separated. Am I crazy though? Am I crazy? Is David Dahmer normal? There was somebody who was upset and then was doing fuck shit. Anyways, why do we have copycats? Because fucking people want notoriety and they want to be famous. What do you mean? What do you mean? Why? Why would they do it? It's the most simplest why ever. It's because people want to be famous. People want to be famous.
Genuine notes. Sure, if this was a big profile case, there would probably be copycats. But the Schuylkill notes haven't really gained any mainstream media attention outside of Reddit. And even then,
outside of Reddit, yeah, you say like, oh, I hasn't gained any mainstream attention outside of Reddit. Reddit is some people's entire lives. Some people's entire lives are going on Reddit and then being a mod or being in the community, and that's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you're a fucking incel or a fucking chud loser if you go on Reddit all the time and you like to be in a Reddit community, but fucking like, bro, some people's entire existence is being on Reddit. Like they go in their communities, they make their community posts, they look up shit, they do detective work, they mod. Fucking that's some people's, that's what they do. So like, I mean, to be like, to make the argument be like, oh, they wouldn't do this because it's just Reddit. Like, no, a lot of people definitely would do this so that they can post it on Reddit.
The posts of Schuylkill notes get like 30 upvotes at best. That's it. This isn't a groundbreaking.
Still, I mean, fair. I think fair, 30 upvotes at best, but like to like the regular, like you're 38 years old. You go on Reddit because you don't have a lot of interest with people, like you said, you're socially awkward, just hypothetical situation, socially awkward, you have fucking blue collar job, you're bored, you're depressed, you go on Reddit, that 30 upvotes, you're gonna feel like a whole new man. You're gonna feel like you're fucking damn, you are posting the fucking shit right now. Like, he's saying it like this wouldn't be a reason people would do this. This is 30 upvotes definitely is worth it for some people to just print out a piece of paper for free and stick it in something and then unbox it and be like, oh, look what I found. It's like, that's
free. Even on YouTube, only one video about these Schuylkill notes has more than 100,000 views. All of the others have
honestly didn't expect this type of stream from a guy named Caleb Lord Nitz. I'm a man of many opinions.
7,000 views. Nobody is talking about this. Nobody
Starshine just resubbed for 3 months.
So what reason would there even be for a copycat? You won't go viral.
Dude, you're fucking dub, dude. You're fucking dub.
Maybe you might piss some people off, which is possible, but at the same time,
Thank you. How you doing, bro? Hope you're doing good.
Hell, maybe
hope everything's chilling
at this point.
We're just trying to unravel a Reddit mystery so far. We got Reddit detectives on the case. It's called Skookle Notes. People putting Skookle Notes in fucking people's food and unpackaged products and shit that say shit about Obama and the CIA and how fucking everything's crazy.
Creates a couple of equally unlikely options. A, the copycats do exist and are creating their own notes for whatever reason, their own twisted pleasure, I guess. Or B, the copycats do not exist and there's one crazy guy printing thousands of notes. Neither of these are really great options, but there's one other possibility. And that is, what if there's multiple people, not copycats, but a group of people creating these kill notes?
This is what I was saying literally earlier. Love you, homie, and I'm just at the airport waiting for my flight home. Safe travels, brother. I hate the airport. Fuck the airport. Fuck the airport. I'm pretty sure I lost my Bluetooth headphones the last time I went to the airport when I saw my family over Christmas. Fuck the airport. But literally, this is what I was saying earlier, that if it's not copycats, it's an organized group of people, for whatever reason, are putting out these notes.
A family is walking in the woods. They spot two men near a cache of 3 Skookle notes. The men don't respond when greeted.
I think this is the first time we've seen something like this. A group of Skookle notes together, not just like randomly placed. There's 3 of them.
And one of the notes was just resting on a log. If the OP is telling the truth and the day really was windy, then he'd be correct. The note would not have been able to stay on top of the log, which means the 2 men must have placed the notes. If this is true, that would mean there are multiple people creating these Skookle notes. Personally, I think that explains a lot of the discrepancies we've covered so far. How can this be happening all across the eastern US? Where are the notes being produced? How is it getting into the food boxes? Why are they doing it? When does a single person have the time to produce hundreds of notes? Well, all of these questions can be explained if there are multiple people. Some people are slipping them into boxes at store level. Others are slipping them into manufacturing.
Also, there's like less than 10 minutes left of this video, and if we get to the end of this video and they don't figure out what the fuck is going on, I'm going to be very upset.
Or during shipping, some are printing the notes themselves. Others are walking through the woods, dropping 10 notes, 20 notes across miles and miles. One takes a trip, say to the Niagara Falls or to Germany. They leave Skookle notes. I think this is much more devastating than the copycat theory, because if this is multiple people, we've evolved out of the "it's just a crazy person in the woods" idea. If this is true, there is a team of lunatics out there, conspiracy theorists with a harrowing, disturbing rhetoric, making a call to action for anyone that thinks like them, speaks like them, believes like them. This theory brings the whole story to one terrifying crescendo: premeditated, intentional propagandizing. Join us against the enemy. Fight the powers that be, the evil among us.
Yeah, this is, okay. But literally what I was saying, what I was saying, I was like, whatever like the psychology of these people's minds are and like what's making them to do this, I mean, you can speculate all day, but the purpose of the message is very clear. They're talking about CIA, they're talking about KKK, they're talking about fucking Obama, they're talking about all like these very, they're talking about big brand names and companies and corporations. They're very obviously trying to push a message of, hey, shit is not what it seems to be. There is evil among us right now, and we need to join together and fight against the powers that be. And I mean, honestly, fuck yeah, great message. Weird way to send it. Great message though.
And they're advertising in our food. They have access to our dried goods, our cereals, and our cookies, our neighborhood stores, our factories, our friends and family across multiple states and across hundreds of miles. And if this theory is correct, then we've all got something to worry about. The FBI and the Food and Drug Administration have, apparently, been investigating these Skookle notes for a couple of years now. Just recently, they've begun showing up on news channels across the greater Philadelphia area. But the really scary fact is we have No information, no answers, nothing. No one has been caught in connection with the notes.
Fucking
We don't know
Christ.
what's going on. All we know is that whoever's doing this right now is in an extremely powerful and possibly catastrophic position, and no one seems to be talking about it. The subreddit, even with its dedicated amateur sleuthing, its rigorous mapping, and energetic community, gets almost no views. It's dozens of products across dozens of stores by multiple companies. And like I just said moments ago, that is genuinely terrifying. That means that completely sealed food that should be 100% fine could be contaminated by these people. And you would never know because nobody knows anything. Personally, I believe lots of things about this case. I believe it's multiple people. I believe it's happening at the factory level, but really, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks or believes. The fact of the matter is, this is not good.
He's making a good point. I think he's making a good point because it is a bad thing. It is a bad thing. Let's not sugarcoat it. It is a bad thing that people are having access to putting things into food that they should not have access to. Like, there's no reason they should be able to do this. Within the rules and bounds of what we're allowed to do. But I don't think that they're going to kill. Definitely, that's not the message they're sending. They're sending that, hey, we need to join together because there's powers up here and we're down here. It definitely doesn't seem like, oh, they're trying to just kill random people. That doesn't seem like what the goal is. It very, very much seems like they're trying to create a class consciousness, honestly. I really like their message, genuinely. Like, it's crazy. It's like, the notes are crazy. It's unhinged. Everything, like, it's unorganized. But, like, the overall message of, like, what they're trying to do, I agree with 100%. I 100% agree with the overall message. I think the way they're doing it is shitty, and it leads people to worry rightfully. But I mean, their message is good though. I mean, their message is good. They're saying that, hey, a lot of fucking people are controlling us, and we don't have a lot of power to do shit about it. Donald Trump is fucking kidnapping the Venezuelan president. We're fucking destroying the economy. We're trying to get the whole world to fucking back to the dollar, and while the whole world is trying to go against the dollar at the same time. I mean, so like, they are pushing the message of the lower, smaller classes of people, or not smaller classes, the lower working classes of people need to band together and fuck the elites, because the elites are fucked. I really think that's what their message is.
Also asked earlier, what is anyone doing to stop this from happening? Well, other than the dedication of Redditors we've seen throughout this video, it doesn't look like very much. There's no word from the FBI, the FDA, the police, nothing. No leads, no media attention, no call to action. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say. Nobody is taking this seriously. At least nobody is treating it like a serious situation. And that's incredibly frustrating and more than a little concerning. This is dangerous, and it could quickly spiral out of control and into a nationwide tragedy. But nobody seems to care. And that, to me, is the most horrifying thing of all.